Hello, welcome to my channel. This is Lizard's Library, where I recommend you some books to read. Today, I'm going to be recommending your boyfriend some books to read. I don't know what it is about every single man that I've ever met, but there is something in their brain that tells them that reading has to be productive and that the only books that they're allowed to read are self-help or classic literature or some sort of business, non-fiction, grind and hustle and grow text. And I very much disagree with that. I believe that reading is something that should be done for fun. I believe that you can still learn and grow and improve from reading even if it is fiction. And I want to challenge this today because I know a lot of girlfriends of mine who love reading and we like to read all of the fun things. And I know a lot of girls who are like, my boyfriend hates reading, he never reads. We go to the beach and I read and he just complains that he's bored, or it's bedtime and I'm reading my book and he just wants to chat. And it's like, no, we need our men to read. We need our men to be literate. We need our men to read books with us and to us, and we need to share our love of literature with the men who we love. When I first met my boyfriend, he mentioned that he wasn't much of a reader and that just simply wasn't gonna work for me. So I took it upon myself to turn him into one. And now he has his own Goodreads account. He's reading books like regularly and I'm impressed. And like the bar is so low, but you can do it, okay? So consider this my Valentine's Day gift to you or to your boyfriend. We're gonna become readers in 2026. It's not cute to not read. It's not cute to only read self-help books. And look, reading a self-help book is better than reading no books at all. I saw a stat the other day that really freaked me out. Hold, 40% of American adults read 0 books last year, in the entire year. I know so many people who brag, or not brag, but just offhandedly in a sort of bragging tone comment that they don't read. Like, it's not cute to not read. It's actually such an ick, and I do not understand it. I get that you might have a hard time reading if you only read the books that you were assigned in school and maybe you didn't like them. We're big boys and girls now. We're gonna go find books that we actually want to read, and we're going to read books. So if your boyfriend or your husband or your man or your woman doesn't read and you're like, oh, I wish they were a reader, you can make them one. You can force them to become a reader. It's not it's not something that you just have or don't have or luck out with. It's like, it's a skill. It can be taught, and I'm gonna help you with that today. I think that a lot of people probably are just giving their boyfriend books that they've loved, and maybe your boyfriend doesn't want to read Colleen Hoover. Maybe your boyfriend doesn't want to read Freedom McFadden. And can you blame him? Because like, I don't. So I will say, maybe you just have different reading tastes, and that's okay. But if he's lazy, here's the thing. We have to make it really easy for them in the beginning, okay? If they think that they don't like reading books, then they're not gonna search for books. They're not gonna do the research. This is where you have to do a little bit of work, and I'm gonna help you out because, like I said, my boyfriend was part of the population that wasn't reading, and I gave him some books, but I'm gonna give you some guidelines. Your boyfriend doesn't want to read a rom-com. Your boyfriend doesn't want to read your mom lit fiction. It's just different, and it's okay. It's okay for books to be somewhat gendered. It's okay for people to have different tastes. That's fine. It's not okay to just not read because you can't find any books that you like. There's always something that you'll like out there. Anyway, I thought for today's video, I would just kind of walk you through how I turned my boyfriend into a reader so that you can follow these steps. First thing that I did is he knew when we were getting to know each other, I was always reading. I was always talking about books that I had read. So first of all, he just understood that books are really important to me and that they're part of my personality a little bit. So he understood that I was always going to be reading, and he understood that I really found that attractive and cool and really value people reading books. That just set the groundwork from the get-go. He understood the assignment, and because he was pursuing me and was interested in me, he wanted to then try to read books because he knew it was something that I cared about. So he wanted to like learn more about something that I cared about. It's kind of like me watching football with him, but I will say he has done a lot better job of reading books than I have of watching football. But I do it and I clap along. I don't know what's going on, but I'll cheer when I think it's the right time. If your boyfriend is like not putting any effort in and you've like emphasized that this is something that you really care about and he's just like not interested, doesn't try, doesn't even think about it, break up with him. Not worth it. Next is that we started out by reading books together. I know this sounds kind of cheesy, but I thought it would be a really cute and fun thing for us to do together, is to read out loud to each other, and it also makes it a little bit easier on him because he's not having to do that much work. I was just reading to him. I was like, you lay there, I'm gonna read this book. I think the first book that we read together was actually a children's book, and that was The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane by Kate DeCamillo. This is one of my all-time favorite books, and it's a children's book, so it's very accessible, very easy to read, so quick and simple. I think that that is a really good piece of advice for anyone that is trying to start out reading, but if you are someone that's only trying to read like the classics and be a scholar, and you're only trying to read these business and self-help books, it's like, yeah, you're not gonna like read it. Find something better to read. This is so accessible, so easy, and you'll finish it really quickly and you'll feel kind of accomplished. And it's also just really cute because it kind of reminded me of being a kid, and when my mom would read to me, that was sort of the vibe. So we read this together. We both really liked it. It was super fun getting to share this with him because I loved it so much, and then getting to see him enjoy it too was a really special moment. Literally pick out your favorite children's book and say, hey, I want to read this to you. It's precious, really cute, and it's a fun time. In that same vein, another children's book that we read was Harry Potter. He had never read them. It was my third time reading them, and they hold up. Harry Potter is another great book for people that haven't read much, don't know what to read. Everybody loves these books for a reason. These are great options. Another like children's book or just nostalgia book that my boyfriend read last year was Sunrise on the Reaping. He had read the original Hunger Games, or maybe he just saw the movies. I actually don't remember. But I read this for my book club, and it was a fun time, and it was kind of nostalgic and fast-paced, and it's an easy read. So I gave this to him, and he liked it. So any kind of book like this, like the Harry Potter or the children's book, or the Hunger Games. These are just like good, easy books. They're, I guess technically YA would maybe be more the genre. They're just super easy to pick up and quick and fun. Percy Jackson would probably be super fun too. I've never read those. Maybe even Lord of the Rings. I don't really know. I think like a children's book is a really easy way to start out reading as an adult if you haven't read in a while. Very fun. The other books that we read together were John Green's The Anthropocene Review. This was a really good book to read to each other and out loud because it's essays. They are nonfiction, but they're a little bit more lyrical and a little bit more personal than like a traditional nonfiction book, because John Green has a beautiful writing style, and also he shared a lot more of his personal thoughts and feelings in there, so it was really cool. This is actually one of my all-time favorite books, and it was really fun to read it together because each chapter is about something totally different, so it was easy to pick it up and read a chapter when we had time, and then we could put it down for weeks or months and then pick it up later and not have to worry that we had forgotten the plot. Because I mean, we don't have a ton of time to read books out loud to each other. We don't live together. We're not spending every single day together. We're not reading together every single time that we hang out. So a book like this, it was a really good way to kind of split it up and make it much more achievable. This is also a really good book. And then another one in the same vibe was Tuesdays with Maury, which is a super short nonfiction book split into different chapters, and it is written by this guy Mitch Abom, and it is him interviewing his old professor who is dying and has this terminal disease, and his professor is giving him all of these words of wisdom on life, and each chapter follows a different little piece of advice. So this is another good book to read together if you don't necessarily have like time to consecutively read, because it's sort of split up. You don't have to like pay attention to a plot, you know what I mean? It's also just a really sweet book, and it was good too because you can read a chapter and then afterwards you can have a conversation about it, which might not necessarily be true of a nonfiction book with chapters in a consecutive story. So like a nonfiction collection, these are both memoirs, which I love a memoir, something kind of split up. These are really good books to read together, and I would recommend that. And then my other tip for these books that I gave him that we were reading together, I had already read them and knew that they were good and that at least I liked them, and I thought that he probably would too. I wasn't picking random books that I hadn't read before because I didn't want to give him books that were bad and then further cement his belief that he didn't really like reading. So I picked out books that I knew that I really loved, which I think was just a good strategy on my part because I'm really smart, and that was a great idea. So yeah, I found out that he likes memoirs because he's a boy, and boys like nonfiction. They don't know what it is. They think that they have to be productive when they read. So you can trick treat them with a memoir because it's nonfiction, but it still has a story. Oh, I also gave him The Glass Castle, but I think his dog ate that one. Yeah, that did happen. So in that same vein, I also read memoirs a good bit, so I had a few that I had read and enjoyed and decided to give to him. The ones that I gave him that he really loved were Beautiful Boy by David Sheff. This is the story of a father whose son gets addicted to meth. I always forget if it's meth or heroin. It's meth. It is so well written, such a beautiful story. It's very heavy and hard to read. It's about addiction, so definitely check out trigger warnings. This was just like an excellent memoir and he loved it too. Two other memoirs that I made him read that he really liked were Educated by Tara Westover, one of the best memoirs that I've ever read, one of the best books that I've ever read, and he really enjoyed it, and The Glass Castle. Can't remember the name of that author, but that's a really good book too. These are just like good quality, like 5-star reads that I absolutely loved, and I found out that he liked memoirs and I was like, these are the best memoirs that I've ever read. You have to try them out. I wasn't giving him like the bottom of the barrel books that I thought were just okay. I was giving him the books that I thought were like chef's kiss, top tier, best of the best, so that he would take those books and be like, oh my goodness, books are amazing, and then maybe get a little bit more disappointed down the line when he had to pick out his own and discovered that not all books are amazing. But I was really kind and gave him all the best recommendations. So then in that same vein, I continued with the memoirs as recommendations. And so like these might be a little bit different for you and your taste and your partner's taste, but I know his interests. So I found books that I loved and thought were amazing that also followed themes of things that I thought he would be interested in. My recommendations might not be the exact same titles, but I think that the outline will be the same. Firstly, Into Thin Air by John Krakauer. This is such a good book. This is a book about a journalist who climbs Mount Everest. My boyfriend is really interested in the outdoors and hiking, and we both like doing that together. I absolutely ate this book up and I gave it to him because I knew that he would like it, and he did. Another one, Love is a Mixtape. This is a book about both grief and music, two things that I knew that he would like and be interested in. Also, this is one of Harry Styles' favorite books, so I knew that a boy in the world did like it, so I thought that mine would, and he did. This is a really good book, easy read, very sweet, also kind of cute because it's about their relationship. It's about a husband whose wife passes away. He then tells the story of their relationship through all of the music that they loved together. So this is actually a really cute book that I think would be a good gift to someone for like Valentine's Day or their birthday, to be like, this is such a cute little romance book. It does follow death. Look, that's the best I can do. Your boyfriend's not gonna read Emily Henry. Mine did. He didn't like it, and that's okay. We're allowed to have different opinions, but this might be the best option. Maybe don't do the heroin one. It's crystal meth. Maybe don't do the crystal meth one for a cutie gift, because that's kind of dark, but like this is a little bit better. I guess I wouldn't really call it a light read. It's pretty heavy, pretty sad. I don't even know. And then Born Standing Up. I actually have not read this book. So I broke my own rule, but I know that he likes comedy, and Carly Thorne recommended this book, and I do trust her recommendations. My boyfriend read it. He liked it. I've been meaning to read it because he liked it so much. He actually started learning how to play the banjo because apparently Steve Martin plays the banjo. But yeah, that was a fun book that he read and then recommended to me. He also in the past year read some books that I didn't even read, but I gave him Maybe You Should Talk to Someone, which was a memoir about therapy that I thought was really interesting, and we had some conversations about this topic. So I gave him the book because I thought it was really good, and he read it and he liked it, and then he proceeded to go on his little Goodreads account that he had at this point started and looked up other therapy related books. So if your boyfriend or your partner has some sort of niche that they're really interested in, it might be a good way to get him interested in reading is to give him a book that follows a topic that he's interested in. That's such like a basic piece of advice, but you might overlook it. The content can definitely vary and grow as you do, but for people that are starting out, like find something that's gonna interest them, because your interests might not be the same, and that's okay. And you can't put too much pressure on someone for not liking the books that you like, because they might not like the same things that you do. So So just think about like what he's interested in, you know? That's kind of a good, it's like so basic, but you might not think about that when you're trying to think of books. I don't know what happened to the end of this video. It is missing, so I'm just going to quickly film this and finish up with some fiction choices. I do think a lot of popular books that are being recommended online right now are typically targeted towards a pretty feminine audience. So I just want to give you some recommendations that I think appeal to maybe a broader audience, particularly a boy, and ones that Micah enjoyed. Firstly, Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. This does follow a female heroine, but it is a very quirky book I think anyone would like. This book was really popular like 6 years ago or something for a reason. So if you haven't read it, you should check it out and then maybe give it to your boyfriend. Everyone in this room will someday be dead. This is just another funny book that's pretty quirky, and I actually haven't heard Emily Austen recommended that much, but I love everything that she's written. This is about Gilda, who's a gay atheist and accidentally gets a job at a church. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. This book is about video game developers, which is why I thought that a boy would like it. It's not like your typical female protagonist girly book. Really well written, and the plot is so beautiful. Demon Copperhead. Demon's story is just so heartbreaking, and you're really rooting for him the whole time. I guess it is a pretty character-driven story, even though the plot events are wild. It's also a bigger book, so be warned, and maybe a little bit more advanced. This isn't like a, oh, you haven't read a book since high school? Try this. This is like a, okay, we're getting back into it, and I think that this is one that'll really sell. And then last, I just wanted to include this. I actually have not read this book. I read A Gentleman in Moscow, and I didn't really like it, but a lot of people do, and I think it is a good book for men, because again, I'm just thinking of books that like have male protagonists or aren't just the typical female book. I don't mean for this video to be super gendered. I do think that a lot of books are probably targeted towards women. I actually wonder if there are stats on that, if women read more than men. I would be interested to look into that. But The Lincoln Highway, Micah said that this one was better. He told me that I would like it. I don't really know. A Gentleman in Moscow was good. It was very well written. It's very funny. It's about this count who is under house arrest in a hotel. It's an interesting concept. It's historical fiction. It's funny and clever. I personally just like didn't love it. I don't even know what this book is about, but Micah loved A Gentleman in Moscow so much that he bought this and read it really quickly, and then he bought Rules of Civility and read that one really quickly. So Immortals is just a good author that Micah really likes. I know a lot of other people like him, and it is probably a better book for a male audience. I've now supplied you with some memoirs and some fiction, hopefully just an outline of ideas of books that you might be able to recommend to your partner. I do hope this video helps you. I hope that you are able to convince your boyfriend to read something. I hope that y'all can read together. I hope that it becomes something that you can share and participate in as a couple, because I don't know, like I love reading so much, and I think that everybody should have the ability to love reading. I don't mean to judge anybody, because I get it. Like, I think the way that we're taught to read in school is really goal-oriented or achievement-based, because we read books and then take tests on them. But like, we're adults now. We can just read for fun, and we can still learn and grow, but it can be both. Yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you have a happy Valentine's Day, and I hope you become a power reading couple. That's what I wish for everybody. Alright, bye. See y'all later.